the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
I think it's stopping the run. I just mentioned it. And it's, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out why they can't stop the run. I think tackling was kind of an issue on Saturday. There were a few like bad missed tackles that I saw, whether that be secondary or linebackers or whoever. But no, they just got to stop the run. That's my biggest thing that going forward. And they faced, some good running backs. Like Bothwell was good, a big guy to bring down. I mean, he's not an easy guy to tackle, but I just think there was one drive. I think it was a Mississippi State 15-play drive. They went down and scored, which for the defense, that was really the only drive that they had a lot of field to give up. I mean, the other drives was either off of a turnover, I feel like, where they had bad field position already. But, I think just limiting the run. I know it's hard, especially when you have that secondary, but I think that's my biggest thing coming out of it. But like Caleb said, I think, finding a way to win this game, despite everything that happened, is probably the biggest takeaway I had overall, positive or negative. So I don't know. Just stop the run. We'll see if it gets better.
So, Caleb, is it stopping the run for you, or is it actually running the football? Because I've gone back and forth on this, where Tennessee, and Shump made a good point about this in the podcast last night, that one of the, I guess, like on the plus end, the not living and dying by the wide splits in the passing game has been huge for Tennessee and has been huge for these receivers, been huge for Joey Aguilar. Like, they've changed up the scheme a lot, and it's really brought life back to this passing game.
Yeah.
But maybe it's hurt the running game, where you don't have the light boxes, you don't have the wide splits anymore, where this is the worst running team we've had in the Heupel era. And I was going through the numbers there too, running the football, and it's just Tennessee is on track to have their worst rushing season under Heupel. And I wonder how much of it is the splits and the schematic changes they made this offseason. But I don't know. I mean, it doesn't feel comfortable. Like, it doesn't feel like they know how to this point rotate.
Every yard is earned. Every yard
is earned, and they don't know how many snaps everybody should have. You know what I mean? Like, Peyton Lewis obviously had the tough situation where he missed a block, kind of like Sampson did against LSU 3 years ago, and that was just kind of it for Dylan Sampson for a while. So, I mean, it's just part of the deal. You have to grow and learn, and you got to be able to pass block to be on the field in this game. But I just don't think Darrell Sims has, and this is not a criticism of him in particular. I'm just saying the nature of the position this year and the schematic changes is like, I just don't think they're comfortable and know how to rotate right now. I don't think they know what to do.
I think you're right about the rotation. I was like, I'm going to look at the full snap count, because it was probably distributed better this game than it has been, which I know that doesn't necessarily cater to your point there, but Deshaun had 37, Starr had 28, and then Peyton Lewis had 9 total snaps. That's probably what it should be every game. Whereas it seems like, I'd have to go back and look for sure, but it seems like it's been split in thirds almost perfectly prior to this. I think they've got to get away from these 3 backs. I don't love the way they rotate them, but at least Deshaun and Starr, who are the obvious top 2, are getting more snaps than Peyton Lewis. Because, I mean, how can you ever get comfortable running the ball 6-7 times a game? They only rushed it for 10-11 this time. I think it'll be more like 15 when you're running the ball better. That's an interesting point. Are these wide splits hurting it? Because it's hard to get light boxes all the time that you like. That'd be something I'd have to pay attention to. I feel like you're still getting a lot of good spots. I think our rushing difficulties boil down to, you don't have the elite back play. I think our offensive line's played well. I think our offensive line was really good last year. I think Dylan Sampson hit a lot of mistakes. I mean, how many times did he make explosive plays just running the ball up the A-gap? I mean, all the time. And that's, in this league, that's not a common thing to rush for 7-8 yards up the A-gap.
Well, he and Jalen Wright were just so good after contact too the last 2 years. Like, that was part of it too. It's like when they got to that second level, they weren't going down. Like, they were just hard to bring down. And Tennessee doesn't really. I mean, Deshaun spent time this offseason where Deshaun is jacked.
I mean, you saw in the last play.
Yeah, he broke an arm tackle. Like, you're not bringing Deshaun Bishop down
from a tackle.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a big dude, and it wasn't a great tackle, but I mean, it's still a big dude.
Strong. Like, Deshaun is a strong back now. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very curious because, I mean, they've not run the ball well in SEC play. 2 SEC games, not run the ball well. And I am curious if that continues against Arkansas, which is a bad defense here in 2 weeks. But It is something to monitor. It doesn't matter right now because you're passing so well.
I was
It is
going to
something I'm
say
curious about.
it's a balance of it. Like Tennessee's passing game looks really good.
Yeah.
Because they're getting gashed in the run game. Because
True.
we watch it every week. We know that you could throw it over the middle at will almost.
Yeah.
But you can also run the ball pretty well. So why would you? So it's one of those things where Tennessee's passing game has been really good. So the rushing game isn't going to get as much attention in terms of critical downs, ideal downs, because you're throwing the football.
Yeah.
And then also like this week, Tennessee had a lot of crucial drives where they had to throw the football. Drives got cut short because of interceptions. Like yes, I think the rushing game is not as good as it should be, but it's not. There's been so much around it. I'm not willing to raise alarm bells. Like you scored 37, was it 37 the final against Georgia? You scored 37 against Georgia defense, who looked really good this weekend against Alabama, at least in the second half. Like I'm not ready to press alarm bells about the offense anywhere.
Can you imagine if you told the last year's team you'd have to score 80 points in the first 2 SEC games to win total? Because that's what they would have needed for Tennessee to win their first 2 SEC games. It's crazy. We've come a long way.
We didn't score for a month and a half in the first half last year.
It was about a month, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was a month.
Florida, Arkansas, Alabama.
There's someone else.
Surely it wasn't Kentucky, but I think that's the next game.
No, it wasn't Kentucky. Was it? Was it one of the bye games? No. Hold on, I'm about to pull it up.
It was whoever was after Alabama because it went Florida, Arkansas, Alabama. Right?
I guess it was Kentucky.
Okay.
But they did. They ended it in Kentucky, so they had 3 games, but it was the second quarter of Kentucky they scored it into the.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That game wasn't very competitive,
and we had a bye week in there, so it probably was a month that we went.
That's what it was. Yes, there was a bye in between Bama and Kentucky. Yeah, so it was a month total. Caleb, are you okay with uniform patches coming to college football and beyond going into next year?
Am I okay with it? No, I hate it.
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas podcast. Hell yeah.